Hi everybody, it's Steve Polkowski. Just giving everybody a negotiations update. Today is May 19th, giving an update on the negotiations where they stand as of last Thursday. So I'm going to kind of rip through this as quickly as I can for everybody, just to give us an update where everybody's at and where we're going next Thursday at our next negotiation session. So the first one there, these are the proposals that we have put forth so far. So we put together 12 proposals. We'll rip through them right now. The first one is the personal day use on any in-service day. We proposed that at our first negotiation. They countered last time with a proposal that would be teachers can use their personal days on any in-service day with the exception of 4 dates that administration gets to pick. Basically, they want to hold a few dates for mandatory trainings, that every teacher needs to be at. So basically, it would be a switch from you get to use your personal days on these 2 dates to you get to use your personal days on any in-service day with the exception of these 4. So a little bit of verbiage changing there that would give us a little bit more flexibility. Number 2 is percentage of staff. This was brought by one of you guys. That suggested that the percentage of staff out on a specific day only applies to percentage of staff that requires substitutes. So things like counselors and nurses and things like that wouldn't require a substitute wouldn't count against our percentages. And that was approved pending ASOP's ability to do that in the system and not have an administrator sit there and count every day who's called in and all that stuff. So that's going to be pending the back end of ASOP's being able to do what we're asking it to do. Number 3, professional work time. We had proposed that there be 2 hours of uninterrupted work time on any in-service day to give teachers the ability to work in their classroom. That one was denied because they more or less approved number 1 because they're giving us flexibility on when we can use our in-service days or our personal days on in-service days. They want to be able to make sure that if there's a training or a 5 or a 6 or a 7 hour thing that has to be done on a specific day, that we have to be there, that they get the amount of time that they need to get those trainings done. So it was basically we approved 1, so we're not going to approve 3 kind of thing. Professional courtesy, this was kind of a funny little conversation. This was brought about basically trying to give teachers a little bit of, like it says, professional courtesy in coming in 5 minutes late due to childcare or, leaving 5 minutes early or right after the buses to get to a medical appointment so you don't have to use a half of a sick day, something along those lines where there's some flexibility. I think it happens at most of the buildings. There might be one particular that it doesn't happen, or teachers kind of get, scolded a little bit for leaving earlier, coming in a couple minutes late. And the response basically is the administrator wants to operate with the professional courtesy that we're asking, but we've got union members that are essentially, telling on each other, and asking what's going on. The administration isn't going to say this person has to leave for medical XYZ because, that's not their business. Basically, that administrator says, hey, let's just stop telling on each other and let professional courtesy develop in that building naturally. So let's try that. Let's not be telling on each other, and let's not go to, if you see somebody leaving 5 minutes earlier right after the buses, assume it's for a medical thing and assume that it got approved by administration and assume that they're making up those minutes somewhere else. And let's see if this one can take care of itself without being put into contract language. If we do this and the courtesy isn't being given, then next go around we'd probably have to, repropose this. But let's start with, treating each other the right way. The next few I'm going to rip through pretty quick. ECFE, SR, subpay. We all get a little bit of a bonus for picking up during our prep periods, and ECFE essentially is asking for a similar kind of incentive to help pick up sub days when they're available. We have a proposal in there for contract language being for the additional language being put in to our contract. That was a previous MOU regarding school psych and the stretch calendar. So that one was proposed, just taking it out of an MOU, putting it into contract language. Number 7 is an MOU extension. Last go around, we had an MOU put in for discussion dates regarding special education and numbers and some of the things that go along specifically to special ed. That's been going well, so we asked for that to be extended another contract round, I guess. We also have changing of some wordage in the ADSYS language in that MOU. It actually has employees' names where we're changed that to positions and updated the dates. Building climate was another interesting conversation. I think last week it was boiling in a lot of buildings, and the conversation was a good conversation regarding the proposal of having a slot of temperatures that are acceptable. And then I don't think that necessarily Doc Carey knew the full extent of how hot and how cold some of our buildings and rooms can get. So I know that's going to be a internal dialogue amongst the powers that be on building climate as it relates to actual temperature in the building. So I'm not sure that that one's going to go through, but I can tell you that the conversations are being had. Number 10 is unused days and the payout associated with the unused days. We have proposed now that whether it is a sick day payout or a personal day payout, that instead of the $120 per day, that it is equal to the substitute teacher rate of pay. So as those go, the pay for subs go up, that our payout would go up increasingly as that does too. Number 11 is a length of day proposal, which would propose that our length of day be confined to 8 hours, regardless of conferences, and conferences is obviously the target on this. So a conference day would be simply a conference day, and a student contact day would be a student contact day. We wouldn't be doing a 12-hour day with conferences in the evening. So that one is proposed. And then our pay increase, we proposed a number of different options for year 1 for the district, which would equate to an average daily rate of pay increase of 3.5%, regardless of which option they pick. We could do a 3.5 and no reduction of days, or we would start to have a reduction of days, which would decrease the percentages of pay increase. So, but regardless, the average daily rate of pay would be increased by 3.5%. It just, depending on how which one works best, might have a reduction of in-service days as a result. In terms of the things that were proposed to us, there was a couple different proposals. So sorry to flip the piece of paper. The proposals that they came to us with to start is, one was basically giving the ability to do an online class, focusing at this point obviously on the high school, to try to keep some of our class numbers bigger, or student numbers bigger. So the potential to offer an online course that would not be hybrid, so it would be either online or in person. So that was proposed, and we've got some counter things that we have to iron out with that. There was also the proposal with the new stuff, the new mandates that have been put through government for the paid family medical leaves, that we probably don't need sick day or sick bank anymore in terms of our district-wide stuff. That was proposed. We've got some thoughts and stuff on that, and then a option for basically a payout, or a money being put towards an HSA for anybody that's opting out of I guess healthcare through the district. So if you're being covered as part of family through a spouse, then if you opted out, you'd get X number of dollars towards an HSA account. So we're not even sure if that's legal. They're not sure that that's legal, but that's where that one's at right now. It's kind of like, hey, this is kind of an idea, but we don't know if it's legal. So they're checking on that. So they came to us with 3, and those are kind of the outlines of the 3. We have not responded to those yet. Those will be on Thursday at our next negotiation session. So so that's everything that's been proposed so far. We've got a handful of additional things that we're going to be proposing later this week. So I will give some updates once we get those things on the district's table. So, and update everybody as to where all the rest of these things stand. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll make another video next week.